Hello guys, thank you so much for joining me today in this live session. So as you've seen in our last episodes, wait, have you really seen that? So if you've not watched our previous videos of the Magic Tuesday, rush after this live, go check them out, because on our previous videos we've talked about DaVinci training. We started off with the media tab and then the cut tab. So today guys, you're going to talk about the edit tab, and we'll be referring to the tabs we've talked about before. So if you want to know more about the media tab and the cut tab, make sure you watch our previous videos after this live session. So yes guys, on the edit tab today we are going to talk about a few tools, and then we are going to also see how they work. So without wasting much time, let's get to it. So guys, this is the edit page. If your interface does not look like mine, all you have to do is come to Workspace and reset that. Once you reset, then your interface will look exactly like mine. So we have a few controls up here. When you click on each one of them, you'll have a drop down of different functions that you can do from these menus up here. And as well, it indicates for you what shortcut controls for your keyboard you're able to use for these specific functions. So it can also come in handy if you want to do something and you don't know exactly how to go about it. On our left side of the interface, we have a media pool. So the media pool is the first tab you get on your DaVinci Resolve software. This is where you import all the files that you want to work with on your edit and cut page. Actually, the files you want to work with for your project. So I already have that done. That's why we have these folders right here. And then I can select, I can just double click on the folder to access the contents inside. Guys, on our previous videos, as stated earlier, I talked about the media pool and the cut page, and I was showing guys how to import and cut files in a faster way on the cut page. So if you want to see how to go about on the cut page, you can as well watch our previous video once we are done with this live session. Before I even import any files, with the edit page we have two viewers, unlike the cut page where we have only one viewer and you select what you want to view at what time. So right here you're able to view both your source and whatever footage you have on your timeline at the same time. On the source viewer, you're able to select options from this drop down right here. If you want to view the audio track of the selected clip, if you want to have a multicam viewer, so this is where you select the options. I'll leave mine on the source viewer right now. And then we have a jog wheel for scrolling back and forth on your clip. And then we have these transport controls. The same transport controls and the jog wheel at the source viewer are the same ones on your timeline viewer. So you can go to the beginning of the clip, stop, play, and all that, which is the same thing you're able to do while you're on your timeline viewer. The only difference with the timeline viewer is we don't select what we want to view on that window. We only select what functions we want to apply on the clips on our timeline. So I'm going to show you that in a bit when I have already clips added to my timeline. And we also have other options up here that you're also going to see when I have clips added to my timeline. Something else to also note is when you already have your clips arranged on your timeline and you've done all the cutting from the cut page, you have everything basically arranged, you don't need to view this window. So you can make a good utilization of this space by just merging these windows and having one viewer, which is the timeline viewer. And I'm just going to have the double viewer right now because I've not done the importing of my clips, and import a few clips on my timeline. Just click, drag and drop. There we go. We already have a source on our timeline now. Let's just zoom that in a little bit. Yes, let me fit, I hope, yes. So there we go. So I have something on my source viewer as well as on my timeline viewer. I'm going to just have this collapsed a little bit. I'll talk about the timeline, just a few tools that will help you work faster on your timeline. So we have the timeline viewer options. How do you want to view your timeline? Depending on how many tracks, the video and audio tracks you have, whatever it is you're working with. So this is where you come and set all that. We have the timeline view options, we have the video view options, audio view options, and the track height. This is where you adjust anything on your timeline. So if I want to view my timeline in a different mode, let's say if you hover your mouse on top of this option, you're able to see exactly what it is you're going to do to your timeline. So I can have the first option, which is stacked timelines. When I click that, an option comes at the end right of your timeline. But again, you can add that. If you want to delete it, I can keep adding more. If I want to delete, you just close whatever timeline it is you don't want to have. And as well, you can check these other timeline view options and see how they work. And then something else, we have these tools that help you work faster on your edit page. So we have the selector tool. Right now is just selecting whatever it is you click on. When you hover your mouse, it tells you that that is the selection mode and tells you that is the shortcut to selecting that option. So let's say I want to have my bled. I can just press B as indicated there and we'll have that selected. If I go back to A on my keyboard, we have our selection tool already selected again. So we have options of how to insert clips on our timeline. We have the insert clip, and then we have overwrite, as well as the shortcuts to doing these functions, and we have the replace clip. So all these options and functions, guys, once you hover your mouse on top of them, you're able to see what functions they perform. An important thing that I also wanted to talk about is the flags and the markers. These are things that help you identify what spots you need to revisit on your timeline once you are done with everything else. So instead of you playing back the whole timeline and finding where these changes needed to be made, let's say you want to add sound effects. Right now you are on the edit page. You want to go and work on your sound effects fairlight page, which we'll be talking about in another video. So you just mark that place. Let's say right here, if I put a marker, you can have different colors for the markers to represent different things. So you can have your red markers representing something different, your cyan markers something different, and as well your blue markers representing something different. So it helps you maneuver your timeline and to options that you needed to add to your timeline in a faster way. Okay, and another thing I had promised you guys is I'll show you how these options right here at the bottom of your timeline viewer work. So I can transform my clip. When I click transform, it actually opens controls on top of the clip. So I'm able to scale my clip from any point. I can scale it uniformly, or I can scale it uniformly by holding it at the edge, at the bottom edge either of the four corners, and I can actually rotate it. So that is what transform does. And as well, these other tools, I can do cropping, I can do dynamic zoom. So we have the dynamic zoom and all these other functions that you're able to apply on your footage on the timeline. So what else do we have here, guys? If you want to add effects, audio and video effects to whatever footage you have on your timeline currently, I'll just have that go all the way down so that we have much more room. So we have the video transition, audio transition, titles. Let's say I want to add a title. We have different types of titles. I'm able to view them by just clicking on them. It shows you how the title will appear. Let me just disable that by clicking them. So guys, I'm going to just drop any text. Let me say this lower third is what I want. And now we can come and edit this. So how do you go about that? You just click on the title you have added, and then you go to inspector tool. On the inspector tool, you're able to change the contents that are modifiable for the specific title that you have selected. So we can go scroll down and see what is modifiable for this specific text we have right here. So there's a lot of things, including color, tracking, font. You can do zooming in and have a drop shadow on this one. So if we try to add something different, it's not all the texts or all the titles that have the same editing options. So if I come to this one right here, you see that changes immediately, and yeah, we do not have as many editable functions as the title we had selected earlier, which was this. So depending on what title you have selected to work with, it will give you what options you are able to change for that specific title. So that is how you go about it. Sorry, all these functions up here are actually not active because I've not added them. If I come add a transition, let's say add a video transition to this right here, and then I can change that as well. I can change the duration, I can change the transition type, and many other options. So on this edit page, something else I had not talked about are the zoom options. So right now I am not viewing my timeline as whole. So we have these zoom options, 3 of them up here. When you hover your mouse on any tool on the DaVinci page, it tells you exactly what that tool is meant for. So I have a full extent zoom, which shows me the full timeline, like right now, and then I have the detailed zoom at my playhead. That is where it's going to zoom in. So that is what it does. We have those options, and as well you can lock your timeline so that whatever change it is you're applying does not affect the timelines that you are done working on specific video or audio tracks. You just lock them so that whatever it is you're working on, functions you perform on your timeline, does not affect the tracks that are locked. So guys, we will be coming back with videos of specific functions for all the DaVinci pages. Very short video to show you exactly how to perform these functions, but for now it's just a quick run through of how to get started with the DaVinci Resolve software. Yes guys, I really talked a lot, and I hope you guys had questions. And again, I remind you, if you've not watched our previous DaVinci videos, make sure you go back immediately after this live session and watch the cut page and the media pool page, so that when we have our next live session, you can ask as many questions as you have. Also, if you want to know more about how to get DaVinci Resolve software, and also how to work with the software, and these tutorials are not sufficient, you can come to our offices in South Bay at Trans Towers on upper ground floor, office number 6. And as well, you can give us a call. Our number is +254 796 26 20 28, and you can make a purchase of the DaVinci Resolve software on our page, on our website, that is www.highwayav.co.ke. Always a pleasure having you guys around, and hoping to see you in our next live session. Bye bye.